Come one, come all. It's time to grow. Welcome to the Dorian Adams Motivation Show. On this channel, on this call, we focus on faith, family, friends, finance, and fitness, and a lot of other things in between. Today's call, we wanted to address the topic, or we're going to attempt to address the topic of, do I have what it takes? And I'm gonna set that up a little bit for you so you can see where I'm coming from with it. The question of do I have what it takes? I got in the mind of the fact that I understand that life is a marathon and not a sprint. And something about do I have what it takes came to my mind because most of you guys probably know, or some of you probably don't. But the question of do I have what it takes has hit a little bit closer to home for me recently, because I decided, my dumb ass, right now, just kidding, but I decided to walk away from my job I've been working at for 7 years, and just hully-gully, you know what I mean? Just throw caution to the wind and do what I gotta do to survive and provide for myself outside of that workplace environment. And so the thing of it is that me asking myself, do I have what it takes? This is one of those situations where I'm looking at a thought that comes to people always talk about, do stuff that scares the shit out of you. So when I say, do I have what it takes? That's the thought that crossed my mind when I decided, hey, you know, I'm gonna make this move. But like I said, in the aftermath of it, I'm sitting here like, man, was that the right decision? And I'm kind of second guessing it, right? And so, but the thing of it is, I'm excited about the do shit that scares the shit out of you part. I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna take that back. So I just want to put that out there as a topic to ask you guys, because we all kind of keep a mindset that says, I got it figured out, this, right? But I want to ask you guys, what is something in your life that's going on right now, or may have went on in the past, that you makes you ask yourself right now to this day, do you have what it takes to complete that job or that task? So I'm gonna let it rip with that. Here's the thing, let's do what we do and invite the creator, however we address or express that being into the conversation, and allow that you are able to be enriched, be able to be inspired, and not necessarily come here to be the GOAT and tell everybody else something. Let's allow him to help us, because this conversation was able to take place. Let's go.
I'll be the first on that.
Let's go, brother.
So, hi y'all, I'm Zach. In the middle of going through a nasty, oh my God, brutal breakup, divorce, what you want to call it. You want to talk about fear? Shit. Man, I got dumped with a whole lot of fear, self-loathing, just giving up. And, coming from the streets, I had forgotten who I was. And then something happened during the process that put me back in the mindset of remembering who I was, and basically just saying, excuse my French, but fuck that, face your fears. And then all of a sudden started turning around like crazy. I'm down in Oregon now. I got this big job I could be on forever. The guy just keeps adding more jobs. I got my trailer parked out front, and then he wants to start a business. And it scares the crap out of me still, but it's like you only find progress in fear.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not scared of anything, how are you going to become anything better? Even as we get older, it's still okay to be scared of things, but how are you going to get better if you're not afraid of facing your fears? Start off with that.
Do you have what it takes?
I'm gonna jump in. I don't know if y'all
I
can
got
hear
what
me.
it takes.
Can you hear me?
Come on,
I got
Colonel.
what it takes.
Okay, so as you know, I moved back to where I'm from, and I didn't want to. It was not what I had planned for myself. And so my biggest fear, and I shared this, I think, with you, Dorian, of like, my biggest fear was coming back and feeling like I'm backtracking, right? Like, oh, I made so much progress in my life. I've gotten to this point personally. I've gotten to this point in my career or with my children, wherever it is, right? And then I'm like, I got hit with having to move back. And I'm like, wow, I'm backtracking on everything I've done, like everything. And I've had multiple conversations, and Tasha was actually one. We had a good conversation about how, like, just because I came back to the same place, right, that doesn't mean that I can disregard all the growth that I've had from here to there and then back. So it was one of those, like, kind of viewing it as like, I'm terrified to come back, because coming back in my head at first was, I'm backtracking, I'm sliding back, I'm basically like losing everything I've worked for and having to start all over again, back to square one, back to like reestablishing a job, and even like as little as like getting new doctors, getting dentists. Like, it sounds cliche, but it's just like those things are exhausting in a new, like going to a new place and having to do. So I think that fear alone kind of ate at me at first, and I was so like stuck in the mindset of I'm failing myself. I'm not accomplishing what I wanted and what I had planned. And I kind of had to stop and take a step back and really reflect on the fact that, like, you know what, even though I had this plan for myself and what I thought that life should look like, or the perspective in which I felt things should fall in line, I kind of had to step back and look at, like, this isn't my plan. Like, and this is not what I have planned. So taking that fear and kind of using that as the motivation of like, okay, instead of sitting and dwelling on the situation, because I had to like legally come back. So it's kind of like there's no way around it, but like, what can I do with that, and how can I use that to navigate me and put me beyond where I was at, right? Like, put me in a better position. What things can I take advantage of here to help propel me in a direction here, versus just sit and kind of like sulk in the fact that like it's not going the way I want it to go, right? Or I'm scared to come back because all of these things, whether it's people or places or just not liking the environment or whatever. And so kind of taking more control of the fact that you can the control you can have over your mindset that can vastly change the trajectory of where you're headed is crazy. And once you grasp that ability to control the mindset, then I feel like you can really start navigating in ways that you couldn't previously. That's just my take.
One thing I forgot to mention, since you mentioned that, and then I realized I forgot to mention it, was so 10 years ago, I was in Portland. Portland is where I'm from, and that's where I am now. Like, I was forced to come back to Portland, and it's all changed. But my friends are still my friends. The people are still the people, and it's still weird. Like, I have moments where it's just like, damn, this is this is fucking weird. But no, I get it. No, for sure. But it's a blessing in disguise. There's a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff that I didn't see last time I was here, which I'm assuming same for you.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely trying to look it genuinely like it always comes back to my mindset and the way I view things because I step back consistently and have to remind myself like you have control of how you feel and the emotions that you're having, right? So I can sit and be sad every single day that I'm here and tell myself I hate this place. I don't want to be back. This is horrible. This is awful. And I can sit and do that, but I'm just not the person that I don't want to be sad all the time. So then once I take control of the fact that I can have a
Right,
different mindset,
right.
that's when you start really changing the navigation of where you're headed.
Mhm. Yeah, that's fire. I mean, it's
Yeah,
so funny
I believe that.
because where I kind of pitched that thought from, and I said, let's go ahead and use that as a topic. It's funny because I was around for part of that process for you, Coriana. You know what I mean? And I know what that feeling was. And it's like, it's crazy because me and Zach, we got a hell of a close connection. And, you know, we've rode that wave between me having stuff going on in the past and him having stuff going on in the past. And, you know, so we all kind of got that kind of same kind of connection about it. So I want to drill down on that because it's not something that just happened once or twice. It's going to continue to happen in our lives. But the thing of it is, what I'm looking at is how we can embrace a mindset that says that's bad, that says, I don't want to do this thing because it's uncomfortable, right? Even though it's like the doctor giving you medication. It's nasty. Well, it's good for you, right? And you still don't want to take it, right? Even though you know the result is going to be you getting better or whatever it is, right? So I'm looking at how is it that we can actually well present into the conversation to channel our energy in that direction and expect all of the pluses of the situation versus letting ourselves be have a deficit of energy towards what we're trying to do. See what I'm saying? Because if I'm shook and scared and all the rest of this, man, my energy ain't flowing properly for me to address what I need to address. You get what I'm saying? So it's more or less, I'm thinking like, how can I even know I'm walking away? And then, because I got all these different mindsets, all this stuff built up in my head about what can possibly go wrong. See what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm actually, it's possible for me to put more energy into what can go wrong, which is going to make it go in that direction because that's how I'm going to move. But if
Don't
I'm putting my
master
energy on how it's going to go right, and I'm excited, you know what I mean? You know, you ever see those people walk up to you, they all just, they all bubbly and excited. It's like, hold on, man, it ain't that damn fun, right? That's you thinking one way, and you taking away, you know what I mean? They're in a better, actually a good place. So I'm trying to see if it's possible to channel that energy in this current situation for me, but actually use it more often than not. You know what I mean? Because you get that Debbie Downer walking in the door, you get that Nancy, that Karen, right? That negative Nancy and that Karen walking in with the right? Do I have to entertain that?
I
Do I
got a
have to
quote
be
for
that
you.
person? You know what I mean?
Big
So
D, I
that's
got a
kind of,
quote for you.
yeah, you know, we get
We all
cold
know
feet
that
in life,
growth is
stuff like
painful.
that. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
Change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong.
Fire.
Right, right. With only a few words, right?
Can
We
I,
can all
I
talk
want
about
to,
it all day long, but we don't. Go ahead.
sorry. I was just going to jump in on the fact
No,
that
you
like
good.
we can say, I think a big point on this topic, though, that we do have to highlight is the fact that it is normal to feel that fear, right? It is normal to feel that defeat,
Yes.
that discouragement,
Yes.
that just getting to
Yes.
those points of like being down, feeling confused, like I don't know where things are headed. I don't like when I got back here, I was like, I don't have a job set up. I don't have anything like, and so there was a lot of fear coming back with certain things, right? So I think highlighting the fact that it is normal to feel that, but then in the same regard, what are we doing to navigate that? Right. And I think that's where this topic
Sure.
could be huge in the fact that we could stay stuck in that fear or that discouragement and all of that and say, you know what, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling sad, I'm whatever you said, like coming in like a Debbie Downer. Or we can take that and say, you know what, I might be terrified, but we're gonna try to do something with it. We're gonna try to head somewhere with
Right.
it,
And that's
like,
okay.
and be productive.
Hmm. And it's very easy to get lost in that and be alone. But that's why we have friends. Big D.
I think it also has to do with like your circle of influence, like who you surround yourself with daily, like because people can really bring whoever you're around can really bring out the best in you or put you in another situation that you probably don't need to be in.
Absolutely. What a Big Tim.
We can't hear you.
Sorry about that. What's happening, family?
There you are.
What's up? Hey,
I just
real,
ran in. I seen your text. I was like, oh, I just ran upstairs. I just got in the door.
yeah, hey, real quick. I want to, of course, we want to greet, welcome Tim into the call. But I want to touch on real quick. If does anybody have thoughts on like when you have said you was gonna do something and just basically told everybody or whatever it is, or kind of like, say for instance, I'm at a job or something, and I'm a role or position is available for me or whatever it is, and you got a shot at it, and you kind of get cold feet or you get nervous or whatever it is. It won't just use the job I'm using that as an example, but have anybody ever had other similar situations where you placed in a leadership role, right?
Oh, for sure.
And that leadership role, calls you to step outside of your normal self and to be actually somebody almost that like I don't know how to say it. To be somebody that everybody's expectation is on you. Oh, everybody's waiting on you to bring it. I don't know if you be the quarterback, like whatever, you know what I mean? Have you had that? And did you get second thoughts about whether or not you have what it takes to complete the task?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll jump in right there on just our boy, on him offering me that job. You know, that was a civilian contracting job. Going back to what I used to do long time ago. But, you know, I was stuck in a position where I didn't really have anything else. And here comes our friend and offers me this contracting job. But it was like, all right, well, am I going to go back to that life? And I don't want to do that. All right, but by not doing it, I realized that I'm not running away, and I have people that expect things out of me. You know, and probably half of them expect me to run away, and the other half expect me to stay. So I gotta stick around. I gotta do what I could do right by people in my life. So I turned it down, and then lo and behold, I'm in a better place now.
I think sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say with that, I feel like a good point on that is the fact that that could stem back to the people that you surround yourself with. Because I think often at times, if you're surrounded by a good, like, core group of individuals, they will see in you things you won't see in yourself. And so they might be like, "Hey, go for it, go for it. You've got this, you could do it." And in your mind, you're like, no, like, I'm terrified, I'm not capable. Just your negative self-talk of like, I don't know that I'm qualified for this type of
Yeah,
stuff. And then you have all of these people around you encouraging you. And I think it kind of could really stem back to that other people seeing more in you than you see in yourself. And that's a part of finding those core people that want to see you do better, that want to push you into uncomfortable positions because they know you're capable of growing in that uncomfortability.
Ooh.
absolutely. And then you don't see it until you make that decision. You don't see those friends by your side supporting you until you make that decision. I got you.
So what would you say, anybody that wants to answer, what would you say is one thing in your life right now that is that important to you that you would ask yourself if you really have what is something that important? I ain't talking about shoot craps and marbles. Something
Easy.
that's in your life that's that important that you wonder if you have what it takes to see it through, to complete the task. Because what I wanted to ask you to answer based on this, because this thing that I have on my plate is that important to me that I'm the only one that can do it. I have to do it. What is that?
Let's
Let's
turn the
talk
table
about
here.
that.
All right. Well, give us some more info. What's going on with you, brother?
No, I'm asking a question.
I
I'm
know
asking
you're
a
asking
question because see,
a
here's the
question.
deal. I'm asking that question from a position that if we value our lives and what we're doing in our lives, do we have stuff that we doing or that's that important to us? If that's a hard question, that
Absolutely.
makes me wonder.
That's an easy question.
Yeah, no, everyone, I mean, the key is, I mean, there's two questions in life. One, why were you born? And what are you called to do? What's your destiny? What's your purpose? And it takes, I like three words: discovery, develop, deploy, or deploy, discover, develop. Deploy
Right.
means just go out, and in that you're going to discover. And in that discovery, you're going to develop. And then you begin to, because again, who knew now that you'd be doing what you're doing now 10 years ago? Who knew that? Who knew 20 years ago what you're doing now? We didn't know. But of course, we put one foot in the other. We stepped out on faith. We started discovering what our strengths, what our weaknesses are. We began to discover what we like, what we don't like. I'll take this, but I'm gonna leave that alone. And then we begin to develop who we are. And then you begin to find out what your passions really are. And then, of course, you begin to develop those passions. And before you knew it, because your gift makes room for you, coming from the faith tradition, your gift makes room for you. And so, but we do have to develop that gift once you discover what it is, and then let it make room for you. Somebody told me a long time ago, uh, find out whatever you like doing and then figure out how to get paid doing it. Find out what you really enjoy doing and then figure out how to get paid doing it. And that was the key to my life. Everything I've done, I've enjoyed. There was one job I was telling you before, Dorian, that I had that I hated. I did it for 2 weeks. Normally, I'll give myself a year. I'll start on something fresh. I remember when I went to the car business and I was trying to figure out, can they really make money standing out there every day? Do you really sell cars, right? And so when I went to Turner Volvo. This was back in 1989, late 80s. Man, I love that business. I did it for 20 years. and nobody outsold me because I had a system and I had a passion. And until 2009, when it went bankrupt, when General Motors went bankrupt, that's when I got out because the whole thing fell apart. We were doing cash for clunkers. But from 89 to 2009, man, you had to force me to go home. I had so much fun. I love selling. I love people. I love cars, you know, and I had a process, so I didn't sell cars. I told people what I do is hope and opportunity. If you're hoping, I'm gonna show you the opportunity. I'm gonna get you the information that you need, and whenever the time comes, you can make an educated decision, and that's what you came here to do today. Is and I start shaking my head like this, and of course, that just broke every because I what how hard is it to sell something to somebody who came to buy it? How hard? So I'm not so, but guys miss the mark trying to sell people. So you ready to buy a car today? They ask for the sale way too soon. You got to romance the thing. You gotta take your time in the thing, and then of course you don't. Then they'll give you the business. Some people will leave, and I remember when I first started, a manager said, "Yo, you let them leave." I said, "They'll be back." Because I know one thing, when they go across the street, they're gonna get some slimy head dudes smelling like cigarettes, cursing and talking smack. And 5 minutes later, they're gonna come back and see me and tell me, you right, there's garbage over there. So I had that, but you have to have confidence. And really that's the key. Confidence is the key. Knowledge doesn't sell, confidence sells. Confidence. If you have people love confident people. They love confident people and they will follow you. I mean, look at this political thing right now. They're following this cat because he's confident. I mean, everything he's saying ain't true, but he's confident. He believes it. He really believes you're gonna buy his gold shoes. He believes it. He absolutely believes it. He's confident. That's confidence. People follow confidence. It's amazing. People follow confidence.
So if you
No
were
comment.
to answer the question, do you have what it takes?
Of course we do.
That
God said
one important thing in your life, how would you respond to that?
Unequivocal, yes, because the word, of course, gives us our identity, and the word says you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
I think if you really want it, you're gonna go get it.
Right.
There's nothing I believe I can't do. If I wanted to be an open heart
think we
surgeon, I could do it.
Yeah,
All I gotta do is watch YouTube for about 10 hours. I can cut your heart open.
sure.
You can show me how to do it. But
Same with the YouTube.
on the serious side, I mean, I've been here a little bit, and so I've been around. I'm a retread. I've been around the corner a lot of times, and I'm confident that whatever you put your mind to, because God gives us that ability. Our minds are amazing. Our minds are really, I know it's a cliche to say the mind is a terrible thing to waste, but our minds are so amazing. But what causes a lot of people not to go forward is their confidence and fear. God didn't give us that spirit. Again, coming from the faith tradition, God didn't give us a spirit of fear or timidness, but of power and a sound mind. So I believe that. I believe that. And everything, and I operate in courage. Of course, you're going to have some fear. There's some things that's going to be terrifying, but you can either be a coward or you could be courageous. I choose to be courageous. But all of us have some kind of fear and something, but you can either be a punk, you can punk out, or you can be courageous and break through. But that's a choice.
So is the fear and fear a choice and being a coward a choice?
Choice.
Being courageous is a choice?
I believe it's a choice.
What you say to that?
I don't think so.
What do you think?
I don't think so.
What you think?
I think we forget our confidence.
Mm.
And when we forget our confidence, we find fear and we get lost in fear until we have the strength to gain our confidence again. I don't think it's a choice. I think there's things that happens in life that make us forget about it, put it aside, and then fear comes, and fear will overwhelm you like that.
What kind
of? Then lots of things.
Okay.
Loss, not living, anything that scares you, or how about your entire life gone like that? You find fear. You forget how confident you are. Because I'm a very confident person, and this man will contest to that.
Right.
But I lost my confidence, and I got weak.
Right.
But it took me getting weak and losing my confidence to remember who I was again.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't
Well,
a
that's right.
choice.
Mm-hmm. That
That
means you're
was just
human.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
I want to
all I'm
jump in
getting
real
at.
quick on the confidence piece. I think that within all of us, we have an ability to be confident, right? But in my opinion, when it comes to confidence, we have to remember that confidence is something that you can continually build on. Because like you said, hey, I'm
Exactly.
confident. If I want to do this, be that, or whatever, I'm going to go for it. I can do it. I'm capable of. That is your confidence in your ability to educate yourself in a specific area to become more confident in said area, right? I grew up with a father who was very much, I might not know how to do it. I might not have went to school to do it, but I'll figure out how to do it. So I have that confidence in, I'll figure out how to do something. No doubt in my mind. I'm confident in the fact that I will educate myself, but there's a, what's a good word for that? I have the ability to be aware that I'm capable of building my confidence in different areas and aspects of my life. It doesn't always have to be a career. It doesn't always have to be just like a specific thing that you're doing. I mean, it could be your confidence to grow your emotional intelligence. It could be your confidence to go deeper in your faith. It could be your confidence to expand on your capabilities in whatever area it might be. But I think we're capable of being confident, and we're capable of building our confidence as we experience and or go through things. But that also takes a willingness to reflect on yourself and admit and be humble in the fact that maybe I didn't navigate a situation to the best of my abilities or to a way that I thought maybe it should have went, right? But if I can learn and grow from that experience, I can gain the confidence to continue on in whatever direction.
Correct.
I
And
like
Big Sam, I mean, would you not agree that confidence is also strength?
it's interesting because again, we're human, and a lot of my understanding comes from the faith tradition. And so when we're talking about this, 2 Corinthians 12 came up to me, and it says that why I take pleasure in my weakness, and then the insults and the hardships and the persecutions and the trouble that I suffer for Christ. When I am weak, then I'm strong. And so it's interesting because it takes something greater than us to help us to understand we have to rely on somebody greater than we are. And it's in that reliance. And you're right. Anytime I start relying on me, man, I got trepidation. I'm like, I don't know, because I could lose confidence quick if I'm trusted in my own might and in my own power. And so, I've learned to trust in a power that's greater than I am. And that's where that strength comes from, because you're right. I mean, there's been times, man, I've been super weak. There was times when, I was so weak, I started self-medicating to a point where I didn't want to stay around no more. Right. But then once I discovered what that was, once I understood what that was, and, I had to rebuke that thing. And now I look back 20 years later, I'm like, that little thing used to take me out. That little thing used to trip
It's
me up
nothing.
like that. Huh?
Mhm.
But I had to
It's
grow.
nothing. It was a moment in time. Right.
Yeah. So it's not a fact that we don't get weak. We do. We're human. We really are frail. A lot of times, you know, there's another text that says we shouldn't think of ourselves more highly than we ought, you know. But the truth of the matter is, in him, we can do all things. And he sees us as, you know, his children that he created with abilities and strength and faith. I talked about this Sunday. You know, we've come this far by faith, not by intellect, not by power, not by might, but we really have come this far by what we believe and the one in whom we believe and how he has directed and protected us and brought us this far. You know, when I start thinking I'm somebody in a bag of chips, that's when I get in trouble. It don't
Right.
work.
Hey, yo, how about this, bro? Like, 'cause that's fire. Um, I'm right there with you with that connection, you know, and everybody not at the same place at the same time, you know what I mean? But the way I
Right.
break it down is that, yeah, I'm with you on the spiritual aspect and that having that connection with the creator is instrumental, right? How I move on this earth though is based on my understanding of what's going on the playing field, right? And what's going on in the playing field a lot of times is based on a narrative. See, I move based on a narrative that I've been fed all my life in a lot of instances. So when we start talking about the words, we using a word fear. As soon as somebody say fear, I almost got a picture of what fear looked like in my mind because of how I've been conditioned to think about fear, right? So it ain't even the actual fear that I need to be tripping on. I need to be tripping on what I think about fear. And first of all, if I keep that word in my vocabulary, then it's right there usable for me.
Right.
But if I grow, well, like you said, if I grow spiritually in my understanding of how protected and revered and special I am, how chosen I am, that I'm here living this life that I have, it's certain things that I can kick out of my vocabulary, right? And it's not that I can kick them out because they're not real or you know what I mean? They don't happen. It's that I can kick them out because I know they don't matter. They don't pertain to me. So if I'm really confident in who I believe, I can say I don't have no fear. I can say I was a tiny little coward at times in my life. I was bullied as a kid. I can claim that. But guess what? When I shifted my mind and I shifted the words I use and I shifted the way I thought I was giving somebody else power over me, all that went out the window. So in that, I built my confidence, you know what I mean? So a lot of it, you know, to get us back in focus of it, you know, do I have what it takes? I feel like I have what it takes because of who I believe in, right? And the fact that he built my legs, my strength, my mind, and confirmed and reconfirmed all that he said that I am. And he etched that into the fabric of my being. So it ain't a question about who I am. And I can move that way now. So when people say these words and this word and this word, I'm like, dude, you so shook by the narrative that once again, going back to what Brother Tim just said, you trying to sell me the narrative that you holding on to because they got you so believing it. And that's why we move the way we move a lot of times because we so stuck on what everybody, oh, you better not do that, right? That's exactly what they say. And guess what you do? You're like, oh, no, I better not do that. No.
You know, you just said something that's real profound. It took me back to when I was in the car business. And I remember when I became a manager, and there's one guy, he was always stuck on just so many, he could only do like 3 or 4 cars a month. And I finally sat down and assessed what his issue was. And it was interesting. He sold the way he bought. He sold the way he bought, which limited him because he can only sell to people who thought like he thought. So he was only able to sell the way he bought. And so once I, discovered what was that, that bondage that was keeping them back, then I told him you got to come out of that because everybody's not going to buy the way you buy, right? Their process isn't going to be your process.
Mhm.
And so you got to get out of the box and understand there's a diversity of processes out there and there's a diversity of buying habits out there. And once you become diverse in that, then you're going to sell more cars. Right now, you're only selling to people who buy the way you buy.
You know what you made me think about when you said that is when we had that call, and we talked about being a gift.
Mm-hmm.
See, what you just said essentially turns that person into a gift giver.
Yeah.
So whoever's walking up, I get what you're saying. Whoever's coming into the play can get the gift because you're gonna find a way. If that's your job now, because you're talking about this guy, this was his job to sell, but he
Right.
couldn't sell to everybody so essentially, until he was able to take the shackles off of his mind, like you said, and start seeing different ways that he could present what he had to offer, he was stuck in the same role, in the same mode.
That's right.
Right?
That's it.
Yeah. And so, yeah, no, that's a good one, man. That's a good one.
That's
I want
it.
to say something.
Go ahead.
I'm watching this call and what this call is about. Dorian, what are you afraid of?
Nothing. Nothing. I appreciate you asking, brother. I brought that up as a topic because I asked myself, like, it ain't about me pitching the call or conversation based
afraid
on
of?
where I'm at. It's more about exploring.
What are you afraid of?
No. Ain't no afraid. Ain't no afraid. The topic is all about exploring the different mental processes we go through. Because even though, like I said, even though I've conditioned myself and I've connected with my creator in a deeper way, I know everybody hasn't. But when we have these forums and talk, we can put stuff out there into the open that may help somebody else if they really seeking, just like Tim said about the brother. Listen, just like Tim said about the brother, it probably wasn't that guy didn't want to learn or didn't want to get better. It's just that he probably didn't have the information. He probably thought he had it all figured out. But because he was open-minded when Tim showed him a different way and he was able to receive it, then he grew. So I'm just putting the conversation out there to say, and then guess what too, even though I might be a little bit more grown up and developed in my process, it's still questions come up because of how I was conditioned over my lifetime. That don't just go away. I might have to fight that back and still make my steps. You see what I'm saying? You don't
Brother
just,
Tim?
yeah.
Say again?
I see you got something to add to that?
Well, again, no one, and again, I go back to my faith tradition. It's not good for anybody to be alone. Nobody, you want to drive somebody crazy, put them in solitary confinement. You want to drive somebody crazy. It's not good for anybody to be alone. We all need one another. And again, when I came on, I heard, some key points of people will see things in you that you don't see in yourself. I think the sister Coriana, is that correct?
Coriana, yes.
Yeah, people see things in you that you may not see in yourself. And that's why, my greatest attribute in life, I'm not the sharpest tool in the tool bag, but I tell you what, my tool is a very effective tool because I love people. I love people. And when you love people, period, right? You'll see them and you'll learn them, and not to take, but to give. The love desires to benefit others at the expense of self. Love desires to give. Lust desires to benefit self at the expense of others. Lust desires to take. People who go far are people who truly know how to love people. And how can I be a blessing? How can I be a light? You know, there's two kind of peoples in this world. One person is the person that you glad they gone. The other person is you wish they never left. There's only two kind of people. One, you glad they gone. Oh, I'm so glad they are gone, man. Or, man, I wish they would never leave. But there's only two kind of people. And once we see the power in us, and that's what I hate about our world. I hate racism. Hate it, hate it, hate it. I hate it's a demonic spirit straight from the pits of hell. And it causes divisions that are totally unnecessary, right? And when we really see the power and the greatness of our, color and the variety that God makes, and then we learn how to celebrate that and appreciate that versus trying to put everybody in one box and telling everybody to look the same and talk the same and walk the same. I hate that, right? Because we're so creative and we're not limited. And so my thing is, Dory and I, we were walking around Saturday. We just had a great time, just meeting folks and eating because, that's me. I'm from New York, right? So I had to learn at an early age how to overcome a courage, So because you go into the train, people trying to take your little, token to get on the train. So you had to learn at an early age how to defend yourself. But one thing that I learned about growing up in New York, I love people, all kinds of folks. You know what I mean?
So that's the thing too. You just reminded me of Saturday when I was kept definitely tipping my hat to you because I saw a key element that you was presenting. You just said it too, loving people. You know that. You get it in your heart of hearts. But me, that's part of that growing up that didn't come naturally for me. Even as a man, I could say I know how to engage in this and that, right? But when I see, because I seek that further, that deeper level of interpersonal relationship and deeper connection with people besides just saying hi. When I saw you display that, the first thing I was say, bruh, I see that. That's that thing. See what I'm saying? So if I can, like Coriana said, surrounding yourself around people that's like-minded and going in the same place and it's going to uplift you, right? I'm going to speak to that in a heartbeat because by no means can you underestimate that I'm going to take that. I'm trying to, right? Because I need that for my journey. I need that for my journey. And I just
then,
have to be connected with a good brother named Tim that can help me get it.
well, and the other thing is, because those are the easy ones. Loving people to love you, that's easy. But being able to shift the haters, that's the power. When you can shift the haters. See, that's where the true power is when you can shift the hater and then that hater comes back because they don't really know what they're hating. They're not hating you because they don't know you, but there's something inside themselves that they're hating.
But where's the power coming from?
And the power comes from helping them see themselves because that's what's holding them back.
Who's helping them?
Anyone. If you got the light,
no. Who's helping them? You say that's where the power comes in when you can help a hater shift.
You become the facilitator of that.
Right. So
You
who's the power? If you facilitating, who's the power?
Of course, the power. I mean, and I always give all glory to God. So that's me. But it depends on,
Right.
who that person's power is.
Right. But no, that's the thing. You said it because if you're presenting it, what are you doing? We're going back to the guy with the sales. He is presenting what he has to offer. He can't make them take it.
You can't make them take it.
So essentially, you're presenting a gift to them.
You're just a facilitator.
Right. You know what I mean?
I don't mean to interrupt y'all, but I do have to get to work. So I appreciate y'all inviting me on.
I thought you were at work. It looked like you were at work.
I'm at work, but I have to go with a patient. So I do actually have to get off. So I appreciate y'all. Great conversation. I appreciate everybody's input. It was nice to meet those that I didn't know.
Nice to meet you.
Have a good night.
Bless you.
Bye, Coriana.
Right on. Yeah, hey, well, yeah, we about to wrap it up. If anybody got anything else to throw in there, man, I appreciate that feedback too, Tim, for real.
Look,
Oh, no.
here's the thing. Yeah, I got something to end with. All right, so here's the thing, and this is this is based on my own past couple months, which you know about. Um, Look, without fear, there is no growth. Without change, there is no growth. You look at something that you've had for years, it has always been the same. Repetitious, boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. Now, whether it's by choice or not your choice, it's still forced change. And it's scary as shit. Now, do we have the strength to get through it? Yeah, damn right we do. Now, whether you believe in God, yourself, Allah, who the fuck cares? Doesn't matter. Do you have the strength to get through it? Yeah, you've made it this far.
Mm-hmm.
We've come this far.
Why can't you keep going?
Yeah.
That is the key. And the answer is you can. Sometimes we need help. Of course, a lot of times we need encouragement. It's good, just like these kind
Absolutely.
of conversations here. We can't live on bread alone, but we live by, the word of God and that word being spoken to one another from God. And that voice of reason, that voice of power, that voice of encouragement, positive people with positive energy. I mean, energy is powerful. And so, when we seek out, and I think what hinders a lot of times is we don't trust, and so we don't reveal what the stronghold really is because we're afraid that somebody's going to use that against us. And so it takes a minute to walk in some spaces and trust people, and you got to have a confidant. I mean, you got to have at least 3 or 4 confidants in your life that you're willing to be transparent with. And that's the key. A lot of times us guys, we don't like to be transparent. We just don't like to reveal whatever those, weaknesses are. But if you got a confidant that you trust, then you can be transparent and you know that brother's not going to hold that against you. But you can't tell everybody everything. You just can't tell everybody everything because a lot of folks may not have your best interests at heart. And so you got to be wise in who you share things with. But you definitely need some, because I mean, I'm sure we've all been burnt. We've all been burnt. We've all been burnt by folks that we thought was in our corner. And, and that's the worst hurt. That's the worst betrayal. The people who are the closest, that's the worst. But you can't let that stop you from still seeking out people that you can trust. You know what I mean? Because betrayal hurts. We all been betrayed. That hurts. I mean, because it wouldn't be betrayal unless they were close to you. If it was somebody you didn't care about, then it ain't betrayal. But it's somebody that you really cared about,
Exactly.
you let into your inner circle, you really confide in them, and then they did that to you. It's like that hurts. But you gotta just forget them. They don't know what they're doing. That's what I love about Jesus on the cross. I mean, they spit on them, they kicked them, they stabbed them, they put spears in them and everything. And his words were, "Father, forgive them because they know not what they're doing." I would have been like, "Father, let me get off this cross and show them who I am." You know what I mean? But to say, you know what I mean? Because he could have, he could have summoned legions, but he took
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
That's an amazing thing. And every time I think about getting into my own little pity party, I think about that. He says, forgive them. They don't. And when you let it go, then it's not in you. Because see, if you hold on to it, it's going to take you out. Because if you retain that thing, you'll become the thing you hate. You can't hold on to it. Because if you hold it, you'll become the very thing that you hate.
The quick interjection on that one. The question is, do you know why he didn't do what you said you would have did?
Man, we would have been in trouble if he had.
No, could you answer that?
Say that again.
What would you say was why he didn't do it?
Because he knew what he came here to do. He knew what he came for. He was focused on his
Forgive.
mission. He
Right.
knew, you know, and when you know what you're focused on, there's going to be all kind of things that's going to try to detour you. But if you're focused on your mission and if you keep your eye on the prize and stay clear, you could see that other adversarial stuff coming from, you know, miles away. You could see it coming at you.
Right. And that's
It's the
the
very same in
reason
Buddhism.
why. How's that?
It's the very same in Buddhism.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
see it?
And that's the reason I asked that, is because he knew who he was.
He knew who he is.
You see what I'm
You
saying?
can't control other people.
And so when I think of that, and I ask myself, do I have what it takes? Going back to what we kind of where we was at earlier in the conversation, when you asked, was I afraid? I know who I am, brother. Right?
But it's okay to be afraid.
It's no need.
Yeah, but it's okay.
No need. I'm not living based on that narrative. You know what I mean? I got woke up today, not because I decided to wake up. So I'm functioning on
Well,
a
I'm
different
proud of you.
wavelength, right? Now, to just look at it like this, what if somebody never introduced the concept of being afraid into your understanding?
If
It
you
wouldn't
never knew
exist.
fear,
It wouldn't exist,
you wouldn't be human.
right? Hey, that's how you feel now because you've been conditioned.
Well, there is, and it's our understanding of it. So when you talk about reverential fear, you know, I have a reverential fear of God.
And
I
what
had
is
a
that? What is that?
It's an honor. It's a respect. I had a fear of my dad. I didn't want to break his heart. I didn't want to disappoint him. I didn't want to I didn't you know, and that's a good fear. There is a good fear. Now, I'm not talking about the coward fear where you're running and you're cowardice. That's another kind of fear. But there is a good fear that's a barometer in our lives that gives us the wisdom not to go too far, not to stay too long, and not to pay too much. You know, even when I was out there, I had a fear like
Say that again.
I ain't doing that. Like for instance,
Say
needles.
that again.
You know, I'm not going there. And so that fear kept me from going too far, staying too long, and paying too much. That's a good fear. There's nothing wrong with that kind of fear right
Yeah.
there. You know,
Sure.
I was
and
gonna
it
I
say
could
when
rock
you're
with that. I could rock with
when
that.
when you're scared or you fear something, you know, that's where the growth happens.
yes, there is a good there's a difference between being a fear and being a punk. That's different. You
Get
know,
out of your comfort zone.
Well, not all those is good examples. I guess my thing of it is to actually be bold enough to take the step to assess what, just like I typed the question in the chat, how long is forever? Everybody's gonna have a different answer. I ain't even gonna go in that direction. I'm just saying, everybody's gonna have a different answer because you're gonna answer it based on how you think I'm trying to ask the question. And so the same thing is with me when I say stuff like fear, stuff like that. It's just that I understand the instances. I'm breaking down the instances of when I'm actually using the fear based on cowardice. You know what I mean? What is the fear based on? And can I alleviate that? Can I do away with that way of thinking, right? And grow myself in the direction I'm
Yeah.
trying to go. Because you're taking extra baggage
Don't
with
try
you
to
on your
diagnose
trip, it ain't gonna help you. You know? I'm taking this cowardice way of thinking and doing stuff, and I'm always scared, and all those different things right there is just wordplay that you don't even need. It ain't gonna do you no good. It's gonna do you more harm. You know what I
Fear
mean?
is fear.
mm,
Plain simple.
That's what I'm
battle
saying.
Fear is
the
fear.
battle is won. What they say, the average uh length between ear to ear, what they say is 5 to 6 inches. The battle's won in 5 to 6 inches. That's what the battle's won or lost, in 5 or 6 inches.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And so you see me
Fear is
talk a
fear.
lot
If
about
you're trying to level out fear and define it you're just trying to make your fear better. No, fear is fear. Plain and
Nah.
simple.
I disagree. I disagree with that one.
Well, agree to
That's just
disagree.
me.
Everything's good, man.
No,
But
I'm
if
just
you-
saying that's just me.
I don't
That's-
think
No worries.
our human language is it's just like love. We know
Absolutely.
that human language does not give a good there's agape love, there's storge love, there's
Mhm.
phileo love, there's eros
All kinds of
love.
love.
You know, when Tina was talking about what's love got to do with it, she wasn't talking about agape love. She was talking about eros, sensual, sexual love. What does that
Yeah.
got to do with it? That's what she was talking. But she
And that's the
wasn't talking.
thing. She was
agape.
speaking our language.
Yeah,
That was what that was. She
That's what
knew
that
we was
was.
going to understand what she was saying.
yeah. And so
Mhm.
it really is a matter of getting understanding and again, in our understanding, get wisdom because see, you know, a lot of people get knowledge, but they don't have wisdom. A lot of people know a lot of stuff, but they don't know what to do with it. So wisdom and understanding and not being in bondage. Bob Marley. In fact, I gotta go see. Has anybody seen that movie yet? I gotta go see it. But he said we gotta free ourselves from mental slavery. We gotta emancipate our minds. You know,
Right.
and that's
Go
and
ahead, man.
that happens through talking, that happens through sharing, that happens through praying, that happens through experience, you know, to free our minds. You know, I don't
Right.
have to do drugs. I don't have to drink. I don't have to
Mhm.
self-medicate anymore because my mind is free. I was doing those things before because I wasn't free. My mind wasn't free. I was stressing and depressing and thinking that these false things is what is going to get me through the day. And once I got delivered from that, I'm like, man, I see how demonic it is. It's sorcery, drugs, and that's all sorcery type stuff, which is Satan's tool to kill, steal, and destroy. He wants to take us out, and he only wants to take the strong man out. He leave the punk alone. He want to take the strong man out. He comes after the strong man because he knows that you can crush his head. And that's why he comes after the strong man.
And that's where we at. You know what I mean? We have a platform a forum to come to discuss these type of things. Because like you said, the punk, right? He's one of us. You know what I mean? The soldier, the coward, who all of them is one of us, but we tend to let ourselves be wayward and alone. We tend to let ourselves be lone wolves unless the guy is standing there and making himself out to be, I got it figured out, and you know what I mean? But then a lot of us sometimes quietly go about their stuff and they're not the cool person or whatever it is. So a lot of times we don't have that
Right.
connectivity between each other, and that's where we let a lot of people slip through the cracks. See what I'm saying? Because they scared to reach out. Once again, like you said, he been burnt so many times. He don't even open his mouth no more. He like, man, I ain't gonna say nothing, right? But we was having this conversation the other day. Here's the same person that could be the most value in your life if you allow them in, embrace them, and let them open up and share. And you find out they know so much, right? But you on this page or this wavelength or whatever it is, and you think you got it all figured out, and you don't need this and you don't need that, but the one right there that could just add value to your life, sleeping on, So that's what I'll be looking to do, man. I'm just trying to connect,
Well,
let's
I love the
hash it out.
connect. I love the connect. I gotta go. My brother-in-law's here. I gotta go. But I love the connect. Good word, good conversation.
Yeah, I gotta go too.
I always feel empowered when I get off. And so until we meet again, man, stay strong, stay focused, and stay courageous.
Brother Tim, always good to see you, man.
Man, it's always good to see you, Doc. I like the little moon background. You look at y'all. Y'all don't figured out the little backgrounds over there.
Yeah. We ain't got the race car seat like you got. You trying to show off that seat. Hey, don't turn that thing back around.
We ain't
And your little
special like that.
microphone. Get out of here. Hey, I love y'all, man.
Whoever this
always color cool and always matching.
Niche, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know her, but nice to meet you.
Yeah. And so we gonna wrap it.
All right, I got to get off too.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up, man.
One thing.
Thanks, guys, and everybody, ladies, for being on the call. I want to definitely thank the Father for that I call him and express him as God for
Yes.
allowing this thing to happen today. We didn't have to
Amen.
make it this far. Hopefully that what we take from this conversation, we can move into our lives with it and affect and impact others. And I just want to close it out with that one, man. We'll see y'all on the next one.
All right, bless you. I'll
Bless
call
you.
you, man.
All right.